Deja Brila presents. Now, for those of you that are new to the show, every week I like to touch base on inspirational topics with inspirational guests who can help make your life a better one. So, my guest today is an entertainer and she's an entrepreneur who goes by the name of Aviana in the Pure Root. So, let's meet her today and hear all about her journey as an artist. Aviana.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, when I met you on a show that we did, another podcast, your energy was so inspiring, and just hearing about your journey, I was like, okay, I definitely have to sit down and talk more with this girl. Yes, so thank you for coming.
The feeling was mutual, by the way.
Oh, nice. Okay, Aviana, so let's get right to it.
Okay.
You do a lot of things. Now, for those who do not know who Aviana is, tell us everything that you do.
Aviana is a creative being, of course. I am a singer-songwriter, and I also model. I'm an actress, and I'm an entrepreneur. I own my own wellness company. It's called Live While Living by Aviana.
Nice. Okay. So you just all-around creative.
All-around creative. All around. I've tried to stick to one thing because they always say, like, just, stick to one thing. So I had a few years of just, like, only music and trying to kind of silence all of my Gemini rising thoughts about this project and this project. But then it's like, after a couple years, everything just starts sinking back into your brain. Like, it's like, do it, just, I think it's about like finding not necessarily balance, but harmony. And I think Lisa Nichols talks about this, about like how it's about harmony. Like, not everything in your life gets the same amount of percentages. Like, something might get 70%, something might get like 20%. And I think that's what has like helped me. Yeah.
Nice. And I feel like in LA, that is true.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that. But I feel like in LA, everybody's a creative who do many things, like myself, actress, model, host, and then like you do multiple different things. But in LA, it's hard. Okay.
All the sirens.
I know. Yeah.
I be tuning it. I don't even be hearing it.
I know.
I just be tuning it.
You do. Okay, I'm dead. I was like, thanks, Spike Lee. Ever since she said that, I definitely see it. I 100% see it. That's for sure.
Did you look like Spike Lee?
Yeah, one of the guests.
Different glasses on.
Okay, I gotta see the different glass. Oh wait, now I kind of see it.
Right, I'm seriously. It's scary.
Can y'all see Spike Lee bank account and mine too?
I'm seeing it for you, brother. I'm seeing it for you.
Exactly. You want me to go back?
You can go back to the last one.
Okay, you do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Aviana, you do a lot of different things. So for those who don't know who Aviana is, tell us everything that you do.
So I am a singer-songwriter first and foremost. I'm a model, actress, and I own my own wellness company. It's called Live While Living by Aviana. So yeah, entrepreneur vibes.
Nice. And we were talking a little bit about that earlier, how people who are creative just don't stick to one thing. It's like you start off with one thing, but that also kind of branches off to other creative things that you do.
Things.
Yeah, especially in LA. It's like nobody does just one thing, Everybody's multifaceted. So
I feel like they feed into one another. Like,
100%.
Me doing some acting, I think is gonna help me. It's gonna inspire me when I'm on stage, like performing my music, because it's kind of like, some people view being on stage as filling a role.
Yeah.
So acting, I think, can feed into that. And if you paint, it can, visually stimulate you to create some lyrics. So I think it's normal for a creative person to be good at many different types of art. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what an artist and an entertainer is,
Exactly.
You entertain. So that's amazing. Okay, so you're originally from St. Louis. When was it that you knew that you wanted to be in the entertainment industry?
It took me a long time actually to get into entertainment. My life has been such a journey. I've pursued so many different types of industries, and I've gone to school for this degree and that degree. It wasn't until I got my master's at NYU in visual culture costume studies. This is like some years ago now, so I'm telling my age. But I back then I was studying fashion history. I wanted to work in museums and do like curate exhibitions and stuff like that. And so I finished this grueling program, and I was super depressed and super just burnt out from grad school and just like living that New York life.
Oh yeah, New York can be a lot, I heard.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so I think after that, randomly, it popped up like within my being, like, oh, I'm gonna go, I want to sing. I don't know where it came from, because I was not pursuing this at all.
So you didn't really grow up singing. It's kind of,
well, you know what, my mom pushed me to be an entertainer when I was like a child, but I was in like heavy rejection of it. You know, she wanted me to sing, so she would make me sing at talent shows and make me be at these little pageants, and like she would kind of push me to do those things, but I would like do it kicking and screaming. Like I had really low self-esteem, and I just thought my voice didn't sound right. I was bullied as a kid, so I just didn't see what she saw. You know, I didn't see that. But I think those seeds that she kept planting when I was a child, all of a sudden started to grow. And I just so happened to be 27 years old and with 2 degrees. And it's just like, so you're going to go sing and you're not going to do what you paid to go to school for? Like, people thought I was crazy.
So she knew, but your mom knew that was always a talent of yours, you know? So she's like, okay, we're not going to waste this God-given gift.
Exactly.
Let's tap into it before it's too late, you know?
Your parents can see that, you know, and I think that's like, so when I think about African tradition, like ancient African tradition, when they, or just indigenous cultures, period, when they name their child based on like what the elder says that child is going to be when they're still in the womb. There are people who are like, oh, they're going to be this, so they name them something that is
meaning.
Right.
Yeah, because your name has meaning. Everyone's name has meaning.
Yes.
So it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I actually did a lot of research on that, and everything from your middle name to your first name, it all has meaning behind it. So I suggest viewers, if you have not looked up your name, definitely do some research on who you are, because it all goes into your purpose and what you were meant to do on this earth.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing that you know that and your mom knows that. Shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom. Shout out to
nice.
mom.
Okay, so back to NYU. I did read that you lived on the East Coast. When did you exactly transition here to LA, and what was it that you felt that LA called you more versus New York?
Okay. So I went to Howard for undergrad. So that was what originally took me to the East Coast.
So you went to Howard and NYU?
I did.
Yes. Shout out to the creative with degrees.
Yeah. So shout out to HU, because like that black experience changed my life. Changed my life, friendships for life. And yeah, I mean, like, my niece asked me recently, or she was talking about how when I grow up, I'm going to go to an Ivy League. I was like, go to an Ivy League when you get your master's. Go to undergrad at HBCU. Like, get that experience, because I'm like, it's about the schoolwork, it's about the grades, but it's also about like, that develops your character, develops like who you are and how you communicate socially with people.
I agree.
I'm like, go to the
HBCU.
Agree. But yeah, so I was, that took me to DC when I was 17. And I lived in DC for 8 years. And then I moved to New York after that. I didn't come to LA until much later. This was 2019. So it took me a while to finally get to the East Coast. But 2019. And this was after I was caregiving for my mom. She had had a stroke some years prior. And 2019 was it was like my kind of like my fresh start type of thing. And then also that emergence of like, oh, I want to be a singer. So I thought LA, like I'm going to go and I want to network and meet other creatives and really pursue the music thing. So that's what brought me here.
Nice. Okay. So what was the main difference that you noticed from LA to New York? Because I would say California is more, again, you could kind of be yourself. Everybody's artistic and everybody's more chill, versus New York. You can definitely strive for excellence there, but it's very more competitive and aggressive, and you really have to be on top of everything. So like, what was the main thing, what you say, that you kind of noticed and enjoyed about California versus New York?
So what I love about LA is that to me, it's like a creative's playground.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that you hear these kind of horror stories about like the stereotypical LA person. They're just like so fake.
Everybody's
and so
fake.
This, and it's like, but I'm like, I've been so blessed to really attract the most amazing people into my life. And I feel like it is, to me, LA is a lot more collaborative.
Right.
People are very hyped up about like, I want to make it. But I think because of that, it's like, oh, I want to make it, like, we want to make it. How can we like help each other?
Exactly.
How can we support one another so we both can make it? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's that kind of vibe, that kind of spirit here. And that's what I love about it. You know, the collaborative aspect.
For sure. It's like who you know. You might meet someone who could change your life, or will introduce you to this person or that person.
Absolutely.
And next thing you know, you're really living the life of your dreams.
For real. I've never been in a place that has that I've encountered so many people that have just like randomly dropped gems for myself. Like, just upon first moving here, oh, you should check out this site. You should check out this platform. You should get on here. Like, just like helping people out. You know, I love that.
And that says a lot about you too. You know, you are what you attract. You know what I mean? So I will agree. There is people here who are not so straightforward versus like New York. They're very, you know, straight to the point. But if you find your people, you definitely find your tribe. And once you find your tribe, you're good to go. So yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so my next question is, you describe your music as a rock and soul sound that explores themes of spirituality and ancient African mysticism, which is a very creative title. So give us a brief summary of what that means to you musically.
Okay. So I'll start with the rock soul. So I use that term to describe, I guess, my genre, because when I first started making music, I kind of classified it as alternative rock. My sound is, I don't know, it's a little complicated. It's always been difficult for me to put it under one umbrella, but that's what everyone wants you to do.
Right.
And so, but then, like, I think more recently it's been like, well, I feel like my music is not just rock. Like, it's rock, but it's very soulful as well, but it's not neo soul. So I just say rock soul because I feel like it has both those elements in it. And so, yeah, that works for me for right now. I don't know about other people, but that's how I see it. And then the African mysticism, spirituality, it just has to do with my own personal spiritual journey, me diving into what it means to be African and not necessarily know exactly where you came from in Africa, but knowing like that is within you.
Right.
I grew up with an uncle who is very super knowledgeable about African history, ancient African history, African spirituality, and has always, you know, pushed a lot of that information on me over the years. And there came a time in my life where I really took it upon myself to dive into that as well, you know. And a lot of, there's a book called Of Water and the Spirit, and it's by Patrice O'May. And it really talks about kind of the customs and magic that was prominent in his tribe in Burkina Faso.
Wow.
And reading that, it just really changed my life. And it really, I put a lot of what he talks about that in that book into my music, and just like my own personal experiences with spirituality. And it just has to do with what I feel like my mission is with my music, and my mission as an artist, as a Black artist, wanting to really inspire more Black people to understand the depths of themselves.
Yeah. To
understand where we come from, our history, and that we are connected to the cosmos, that we are connected to so much bigger, you know.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. You definitely have to know who you are and do your research, because again, you find a lot about, you know, why you do certain things. So shout out to you for digging deep and learning about all that. That's awesome. Okay, so if you could relate yourself to any artist, Aviana, who would it be and why? Or like, where would you say you get some of your inspiration from?
I have a few, I think. Some of my favorite artists. So I would say Prince for one.
Wow.
I
That's a
love
new one,
Prince.
especially as a woman.
All my favorite, like my top are like men. I don't know why, but yeah, it's like Bob Marley, Jimi Hendrix, Prince. Those are like my top three artists. So I feel like I see myself and I'm inspired by their music in regards to creating my own music. So I would say, but specifically Prince, just because I don't know, he was kind of different. He was kind of like,
and he was also very spiritual.
He was very spiritual. I really like identify how he was able to communicate some really complex spiritual ideas, but then merge them with his beliefs about sexuality and just package them in a way.
Which was what? Would you say?
It was just, to him, sex was about getting closer to God. I feel like that was one of his quotes. Like,
really, that I didn't know.
Yeah, it was like a spiritual thing for him, and I think that he was very sexual, but it was so much deeper than I think people realize. And if you listen to the lyrics of a lot of his songs, you know, he has a lot of symbolism, like doves, and you know, like there's one song, "Let's Go Crazy," and so there's a part where I've heard it forever as a child, but I found out the lyrics to, I don't know, it's maybe not "Let's Go Crazy," 1999, that song.
Okay.
It's like, better live before the purple banana does something. It's some lyric in there. And I was like, oh my God, I think he's talking about like...
Right, he's like, this actually hits home.
No, like I think he was just talking about like purple is a spiritual color, it's a royal color. And I think it just was about like living life before you die. Like taking this moment on earth to like really do what you came here for, basically.
To your true purpose.
Absolutely. So next time you listen to the song, listen to that part.
Right. I'm gonna have to actually go back and dig
like,
deep
for
into
real.
those lyrics.
It's so cool. But I would say him, Danielle Luna. I don't know if you're familiar with Danielle Luna.
I'm not.
She is, a lot of people call her like the first Black supermodel. But my people in fashion history, specifically one of my friends, would be like, now you know better, Aviana. Like, there are no first. But Danielle Luna, there is a new documentary out now. It's on HBO, I believe, about her life.
Really?
She was prominent in the 60s. So like Andy Warhol era.
Oh, yeah.
She was like this giant of a beautiful Black woman. She had these like very almond shaped eyes and very different, and she really inspired like the look at the time. And like if you when you dive into her, I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, oh
I love how you do your research on like the classics, you know? Like you're like, let me see who came before me.
But she was dope. She was like weird, and like no one looked like her at the time, and just very like ethereal and like
nice. Okay. And even Jimi Hendrix, he was also very spiritual as well. So absolutely. I can see where you get your inspiration from. That's amazing. Okay, so we wrap that up. My next question is, you also have an EP dropping next year. Congratulations on that. And that is called Love Spills.
Yes.
And I love anything with love in it. Like, because my last name is Breed Love, I'm like, oh, Love Spills. That sounds
that's
very...
me right there.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So tell us, what can we expect from that and where that inspiration came from? Okay,
so Love Spells is actually, so it's a film and it's an EP. So it is, and it's a project that I thought of, I believe I started working on it last year, and it's because my first EP, Prophecy, was about some pretty hard-hitting subjects, like really deep into the spirituality. And I wanted to do something that kind of showed my softer side, something that like talked about romantic love. Like, it's still talking about spirituality. It's kind of like that Prince thing where it's like, you know, little symbols of stuff.
Little mysticism.
Right. But it's like really expressing like my love for romantic love, and like how I am like such a sentimental, like mushy person.
Nice.
And so that's where that comes from. And I actually, so the film is basically, you know how artists will release like a video for every song on the album, but it'd be like a film.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. So it's 3 songs, 3 music videos, and it's going to tell a story of soulmates. And it's kind of introducing this idea of reincarnation, this whole idea of meeting with this person who you look at them and you're like, oh my God, I know them like from a past lifetime. And then how this can be misleading in some ways because you see that and you feel that spark and you think that, oh my God, I'm supposed to be with this person. But a lot of times it's a cycle you're not supposed to repeat in this lifetime. Or it's meant to teach you. Or it's meant to teach you something. You have to let it go. So it's about that. And I'm excited for it. I did a fundraiser for it. I've been fundraising for it all year. Kickstarter, Indiegogo. I shot one of the videos in Venice. And then I'm shooting the rest in Accra, Ghana in February.
Nice,
so,
congratulations. That should be fun. I'm definitely going to check that out because I also believe in the twin flame and the whole soulmate and knowing someone from a past life, you know, but like you said, you think you're meant to be with that person, but it's meant to teach you a lesson, you know, and you're not always supposed to be together in this lifetime, you know?
You're not.
So I definitely want to check that out. So speaking of relationships and soulmates and twin flames, is Aviana single? If not, what type of man would capture your heart? Because everyone does say it's really hard to date in LA. So I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that.
Well, I am single. I'm single. I've been single for a while. LA dating is interesting.
Yeah, everybody says that.
LA dating is interesting. I think that, the dates that I go on are far and few between. I think for one, because I don't like apps, and a lot of people here use the apps.
I don't believe in that either. I believe in face-to-face connection. I can't meet someone online and then
it's so stressful.
It's scary.
I've tried it a couple times and I'm like, this is not for me. It's like I just get anxiety from it. Like it's just. And I think I've gone on one date in my life from apps. Like it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I don't know. I'm optimistic. I think like we were talking about earlier, it's about like the energy you put out. So I think
your person is out there.
I think that my person is out there. I think the more that you come into who you are, what you deserve, and you get very specific about what it is that you're calling in, I think the closer you get to it, you know. And I've seen little remnants because I'm just now I was in LA for 3 years and I went back to my hometown of St. Louis, and so now I am transitioning back into LA. So it's been pretty recent, but since I've been here, I've seen remnants of like, okay, I'm getting closer.
Yeah,
the people,
your highest self. You're attracting like-minded people.
Exactly,
so
he's coming. Like it's like it hasn't been the person, but even like on the dates, you just get like, okay, this is closer. This is a little bit more towards what I want.
And that's a very positive way to look at it, because again, you take something from everything that you experience in life. You're like, okay, this is what I do like. This is what I don't like. That way, when you do meet that person, you already know exactly what you're looking for, and you'll know if that's the person for you or if it's not the person for you. So
absolutely.
What type of person would you say would capture your heart or that you're looking for?
Oh, Deja.
I'm getting a little personal, but
I think, at the top of the list would be like kind, very sweet. Because no one likes a mean person. No one wants to be with someone who's like...
Can't make you laugh or
you know
doesn't
what I mean?
laugh.
And I've had experiences like that where it's like, you're not very nice. So I want someone who's going to be like...
You sound just
you're
like
me. You're not very nice. And I'm like, I
want to be around you. You're not a nice person.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I want someone who is like sweet to me and kind to me and... fine, of course. I want a fine gentleman that I just can't stop looking at. But like, trustworthy, business oriented, spiritual, all those things. Like I really want someone who's going to teach me. Like as an entrepreneur, I'm having to learn so much, and I'm like, oh my God,
you gotta be able to learn from the person too.
I would love to be with someone who's like very just sharp and intelligent, and like can help to build me up in a way to become an even better person. And I hope to do the same thing for the person that I'm with.
Right.
So yeah.
Well said. Well, your man is out there.
Yes.
Fellas, she is single. So definitely hit her up. Okay, so as we kind of come to, I wrap this up. This has been an amazing interview. Let's dive into really quickly your acting career. So you were also an actress, and obviously the whole SAG strike has been going on for a while now, and it's finally came to an end. Thank God.
Yes.
But tell us, how did you hold up during the strike, and how would you say you maintained a positive outlook? And if so, what would you say kind of motivated you to kind of keep that faith and inspiration during such a tough time?
This is the thing. Well, I'm not technically SAG, and I wasn't here in LA for most of the strike, but then just transitioning back into LA where the strike was being held, I guess like towards the end, because it's over now.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just been about, showing my support in whatever way I can for the people who are out there on the front lines, fighting for, what's right, fighting for what's right. Still kind of auditioning here and there, but like really not wanting, kind of consulting with my people who are SAG, like what can I do that is not in violation of the strike, but still show my support. So I think that's really been what I've been doing. I feel like I've come back to LA at a really great time. Like now the strike is over. Yeah. And I'm just like looking to get to work and looking to collaborate more. So,
amazing. Well said. Definitely appreciate the support. Like you said, just even being that light in the world during such a tough time. I feel like everyone needed that, because so many people were just giving up, because it's like this is their livelihood. You know how they make their money, and just to kind of get shut down and be out of work for such a long period of time, it was pretty stressful. I'm like, myself included, but I'm like, let me try to just inspire while also inspiring myself and being positive. Like, okay, this is temporary. When we do come back, it's something that's gonna make us stronger, and we'll be much happier because things would be solidified. We're not taken advantage of. So that's amazing. Okay, so next, you're also the owner of a health and wellness platform, Live While Living by Aviana. Tell us about that company and what exactly you offer.
So Live While Living by Aviana, it's a wellness brand. And it started off with us just selling like loose leaf herbal tea blends. And this year I rolled out tea meditations, and I've been facilitating them all year. And they've been very successful.
Wow.
And they're basically where I, have a group enjoy one of the teas from the collection. And we work with the herbs, work with the different properties within the herbs and how they relate to different parts of our bodies, and just becoming more aware of our bodies and how we can like intentionally work with the medicine. And so that's what we do now. I'm going to be putting out a couple of ebooks soon, and then next year, stepping into this essential oil space, like wanting to really like launch some like healing essential oils. But the company came out of, some struggles that I had from asthma, and then as well as caregiving for my mom after a stroke. So a lot of what I did during that time, and I was living in St. Louis at the time, was I kind of dived into natural medicine, dived into plant medicine, meditation, just like all things like
holistic,
aware, and so that was such an extreme time. And so then coming to LA and kind of coming out of that, this was a way of starting this company, was a way of me really documenting some of the knowledge that I acquired during that time. I had a lot of elders that were pushing me to like, you should like get into the medical space, and you should, lay hands on people. And I'm like, I'm not trying to lay hands on nobody.
Yeah, you're a healer.
I'm a very sensitive person. And so it was like, well, let me start with tea. And so I was like, well, I'll make my first offering tea. And it's done very well. I have 4 different blends now. And I just hope, and not even just hope, I know that it will continue to grow and expand, and we'll continue helping people to get more in tune with themselves and to heal naturally. So
amazing. Well, yeah, you sound like you're definitely a healer. Yes. So shout out to you for, and helping people and making their life a better one as well.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to check out the tea.
Oh my God, absolutely.
I'm like, meditation
Let's have a tea party.
Right. I'm like, this definitely sounds like something right up my alley.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as we kind of wrap this up, what can we expect next from Aviana? So what do you have on the way besides your EP, or should be the main thing we should kind of look out for?
The EP, but I mean, just looking out for the fact that like we're getting bigger and better every day.
Yeah.
Like look forward to, more Aviana on camera, in front of the camera, films, performing on bigger stages. Coachella, do you hear me?
Oh, yeah,
nice. And just like expanding my company, expanding Live While Living by Aviana, expanding my world of entertainment like even further, and finding that lucky someone.
Yeah, right. I would love to see you on like a dating show, like interviewing everybody. Like, all right,
that would scare me.
It would be overwhelming. Like, who's the perfect guy for Aviana?
Oh God, that's a nice thought though.
Nice. Well, thank you for all that info. My last question, last but not least, if you could leave any future entrepreneurs with any piece of advice or any inspiring creatives, originally from the Midwest, like you and I, just who have a dream but don't even know where to start, what would you say?
I would say connections. I think relationships are one of the biggest parts of running a business. It's not just about, it's about keeping your head down and just plugging away every day, but it's also about the people you meet and not just like what they can do for you, but like how you all can have an exchange. And I think that the success of my business has come from relationships and communicating with others and getting my message out there. And I feel like that's the most important part. And keeping the faith. I feel like if you were given the vision to be an entrepreneur, you were given that vision for a reason.
Yeah.
And at times it can feel like, why the hell am I doing this? Like, this is crazy. Should I just get a regular job?
Exactly.
Like,
we all been there.
You know what I mean? But it's like, you have to know that the work, the sweat and tears that you're putting in today, like it could be 2 years from now, you could be a millionaire. You know what I mean? All because you
seeds.
You planted the seeds and you followed God's directions and you stayed the course and you stayed on your path and you trusted. I think that's the biggest thing also is trust. You have to trust that if you are doing the work, the money will come. If you are doing the work, you'll be provided for, and you'll be supported. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all this inspirational info with us and just your journey as I would say you're a healer and just even coming from the Midwest and going to New York and following your dreams. So shout out to that. Tell everybody, where's the best place to find you? Your socials.
So the
to
best
keep
place
up with
to
all that you're doing.
Will be my website, avianapureroot.com, AVIANA pureroot.com. My wellness business website, which is livewhilelivingbyAviana.com, and then Instagram, Aviana Pure Root on Instagram, and Live While Living by Aviana on Instagram as well.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You also can check her and I out on Sisterhood in America, which is on NBT. I would definitely have to pitch that, where you can also see her having amazing conversations with other inspirational ladies. So definitely check that out. And I will attach all of that info at the bottom of the screen, as well as Aviana's info, so you can keep up with her. So that wraps us up for Deja Brie Love Presents, and I will see you next week with another inspirational guest and amazing topic.
Bye, guys.